Hello everybody, today I'm gonna give you guys 10 tips that I use to go from a 24-inch vertical to a 50.5-inch vertical. The first tip is just to practice your jump approach while you're just walking around. Walkthroughs is one of the highest leverage things that you can do to learn jump technique, especially as a beginner. I used to practice my approach walking around, whether I was at school, doing groceries, at home if I was bored. The more you can get those walkthroughs in, the more you can dial in your approach. There have been a ton of studies done on the power of visualization, and walkthroughs is just a way to do visualization on an even higher level. They did a study where they had 3 groups. One group practiced free throws, just every single day shot 100 free throws. The second group, they practiced shooting free throws in their mind, and the third group practiced doing mental reps and the physical reps. The group that practiced the free throws in their mind improved just as much as the ones that only did the physical reps. And then obviously the third group that did both beat the first 2 groups by a ton. So these walkthroughs can really help you dial in your technique. Make sure to do it as much as possible and watch the vertical jump gains come in.
Tip number 2, right ass. One thing that has separated Isaiah from every other pro dunker or athlete who's training to improve their vertical is the fact that he has obsessed about his lifting technique as much as he is obsessed about his jumping technique. So recently I was thinking about other athletes that I could help improve past that 50-inch vertical leap barrier, and I thought of Dom Gonzalez. And one thing that separates Isaiah from Dom, and why Dom probably doesn't have a 50-inch vertical right now, is because he has not perfected his weightlifting technique. This includes his Olympic lifting, his squatting, calf raises, hinging. Literally every lift that he can possibly do in the weight room has to be perfected and nuanced to the same degree that his dunking is.
The third tip is don't slack on your isometrics if you need them. You know if you need them if you either have Achilles tendinopathy or patellar tendinopathy. The ideal dosage for the isos is on off days where you're not doing anything super intensive on your knee extensors or on your Achilles, is to do 9 to 15 sets per day. I personally do 15 sets every single day, and then do 3 to 5 sets as a warm-up before you're lifting or you're jumping. This can make a huge difference in your tendon health, so don't skip out on your isos. Do your 9 to 15 sets every single day for the rest of your life.
How's my hair look? Is it good? Very nice. If you want to get a higher vertical, then you absolutely have to stay healthy. One of the best ways to hurt yourself is to push your dunk session length past the allotted time limit or past what you even normally would do. When athletes get hurt, they're either increasing their training volume or intensity too quickly. If you're increasing your session length without preparing for it, odds are you're probably going to increase your risk of injury, and that's going to set you back in the long term. Athletes that jump higher are able to stay healthier and maintain high intent, high quality sessions over the course of not even multiple months, but years. That said, if you want to maintain the regularity of these sessions, then you absolutely need to know when to cut your dunk sessions.
Okay, I hear you, John, but how am I supposed to know how much is too many jumps for my dunk sessions? Also, I always hear on social media about I need to be in the gym every single day working as hard as I possibly can. Does that mean I'm doing too much? Or maybe, am I not doing enough? What's optimal? The answer is easy. Become a THP athlete and all the questions will be answered. You can sign up for online training at THPstrength.com and have John Evans and Isaiah Rivera write your training. Link is in the description.
The 5th tip is that if you're gonna practice jumping, practice at 100%. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I see guys out low rimming and they're doing low effort jumps when they're practicing their dunks. That is one of the worst things you can do, not just for your vertical jump height, but also for your dunk technique. So if you wanna be a better dunker and if you wanna jump higher, practice at 100%, maximum effort. You have to practice the way you're gonna play. In this point, this is the most specific thing that you can do. It's gonna drive the most adaptations. It's basically a waste of time to practice low effort jumps. So when you jump, go hard, go 110 million thousand %. 110 million thousand %.
Piggybacking my last point, if you want to get hurt, then you absolutely should push. You should puss as much as possible, be a puss. Piggybacking my last point, if you want to get hurt, then the best thing that you can do is push past a 3 in pain on every single exercise. In other words, don't do that if you want to stay healthy. You need to have that threshold of understanding what is okay levels of pain and what's gonna make you better and what is unacceptable levels of pain. One of the things that I see very often with my athletes is they'll text me about every little injury or every little thing that they have going on in their body, and honestly, I don't usually care about anything that's less than a 3 in pain. 4, maybe 5, I definitely care, and they probably shouldn't be doing whatever it is that they're doing if they're at that pain level. That's your body basically communicating with you, hey, this is causing damage or this is injuring you, you should probably stop doing what you're doing. There are some specific scenarios where I will let that pain level climb up a bit, but as a general rule of thumb, if you wanna stay healthy and you wanna get those regular dunk sessions in, then you should not be pushing past about a 3 in pain on any exercise, jumping, even stretching to some extent.
The 7th tip, if you wanna jump higher, is to get freaking strong. And once you've gotten freaking strong, get even stronger. There's literally no excuse to not being strong in the weight room. If you are not a strong athlete and you've been training for years, if you've been jumping for years, that's probably an issue of laziness and consistency or a mixture of both. Getting stronger is one of the highest leverage things you can do for your vertical jump. It's something that is less risky than jumping. It can keep you healthy. Stronger athletes don't get hurt as much when jumping. Stop skimping out on the lifting. I know it's really fun to dunk, but try to cut down a little bit on the sessions and lift instead, and lift really freaking hard, high intensity, go hard, get strong, man. 110 million thousand %.
Hiram said once, he's like, "Bow wow, got that dog in me," and I was like, I will never forget that. One of the most important things that I took away from coaching Isaiah very early on was that you have to jump a lot. There's an article that came out, Isaiah's talked about it in previous YouTube videos, where it basically discusses the importance of jumping as much as possible, or even in some cases every day. Now that is best case scenario. Oftentimes athletes can't actually handle that, but I will say when it comes to long-term athletic development, the athletes that jump higher later on in life typically have hundreds, actually, I would say tens of thousands of reps of jumping built into their lifetime. A great example of this is Hoopin' Nate. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he is probably 13 or 14 years old, started dunking on Nerf hoops, and he's just progressed up that height as he's gotten taller. So a good analogy of why it's so important to jump at a younger age and build up that jump volume is the illustration or the analogy of Milo and the bull. So if you guys aren't familiar with the story, Milo is a little boy and there's a calf, and when the calf's born, Milo puts it on his shoulders and he carries it up a mountain every single day and back down. As the bull gets heavier and grows, Milo also gets stronger and is able to eventually, over years and years and years, carry a full-size bull up the mountain and back down. If you look at Isaiah or Jordan Kilgannon, they're great examples of this. Both of these guys have jumped thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of reps over multiple years to perfect their jump technique, develop all the qualities, underlying qualities that you need to jump high, and ultimately improve the vertical to that 49 to 50 plus inch vertical mark. There are freak athletes that achieve that without doing that, but I think when you look at these athletes that aren't as much of genetic outliers, they're great people to look to when it comes to long-term athletic development.
All right, the final tip if you want to jump higher is to periodize your training. Periodization is basically manipulating intensities and volume so that you peak at the right time of the year and so that you maximize how much vertical you're actually gaining. When I first learned how to train, I used to just go into the weight room and basically just do 3 sets of 5 everything. And if I would have actually periodized my reps and set schemes over the course of a year, I would have improved way faster. Now, this is pretty difficult to do. Ideally, you would have a coach. Along with the last tip, I'm gonna urge you guys to sign up for THPstrength.com and get the best coaches on the planet to periodize the training for you. If you would like to learn how to do this yourself, at some point in the future, we're gonna make a video about periodization. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on that video. But that is it for this video, guys. Leave a comment if you have any questions. We're gonna try to get to as many other questions as we can. And I hope you guys have an amazing training week. Peace out.